So, should truth and facts be a defence in a court of law?
A lawyer once said that you don't go to court looking for justice. So, yes, well, I mean, facts should be. However, how do you know that the facts you're being presented with are actually true? So, truth and facts, I mean, ideally, truth and facts should count in a court of law. However, often it's just whoever presents the best case, gets their way in court. So it's unfortunate that there's many times that things have been twisted in court and justice has not prevailed because of the way facts have been presented, or because certain things have been dismissed out of court for whatever, small reasons, or, so yes, it should be important. However, how do you really know what the truth is in court? How do you know anyone is really telling the truth, really, to be honest? I mean, you could put them on the lie detector and see. I don't know how accurate the lie detectors are, but it would be great if we, if all we saw was the truth in the world, but the fact is we don't. A lot of people do lie and a lot of people are out of integrity.
Just incidentally, I think there's 2 cases where judges or magistrates have actually said truth is no defence.
Right.
That's in a court.
Right, that's
After
amazing.
they got the guy to swear on the Bible and say
my goodness.
to say he would tell the truth.
And nothing but the truth.
And nothing. Magistrate turns around and says, "Truth is no defence."
Wow, that's insane. That's crazy. It's a mad world out there in some areas. So,
Aldwyn, what is more important, full disclosure of the data and the facts, or protecting someone's feelings?
In a court of law, full disclosure of the facts.
No, irrespective.
In life, full disclosure of the facts? Or
what is more important, full disclosure of the data and the facts, or protecting someone's feelings?
I believe full disclosure in that case. I think you need to be completely honest with others and yourself, because the fact is the truth always comes out in the end. And I think, for example, you have a couple that are in a relationship. Okay, one person cheats on the partner, okay? Now that person can go around pretending that they haven't cheated on that partner, but eventually the truth will come out and it will be even worse than if that person had owned up in the first place and said they cheated on the partner. So by hiding that they cheated on the partner to protect that person's feelings is actually just delaying something that's going to come out in the end anyway. And I do believe in karma, and so, really, if you lie to people to protect their feelings, it's a futile exercise. It's delaying something that's going to come out anyway, and when it does come out, it'll be even worse. And the fact is, you're living a lie, and living a lie is very stressful on the body as well. So there's facts around that as well out there, but living a lie is not a healthy, powerful, inspiring way to live life. So,
and we actually have a law in Australia, 18C law, which says you cannot state the facts because it may hurt someone's feelings.
What?
18C.
That's crazy.
So what is more important to you, truth or freedom? All right? So if you discovered some information that was counter to mainstream socio-political belief, would you keep it to yourself or would you share it, even if that meant that you could face jail time?
Oh, that's a good one. Well, look at Nelson Mandela. Truth. Look, I stand for truth. I do Truth Expose TV, and I think if you've got information that can really impact lives, and if there's going to be consequences for yourself, I think you should tell the truth. I still think you should tell the truth. So for me, it's be honest, tell the truth if you've been presented with information.
And yet we have laws in Australia, 18C, that will send you to jail if you tell the truth.
Well, I think that is crazy, and I think there's lots of things about the world that are insane, particularly around the red tape, particularly around how governments run and how courts run. I think a lot of it is really corrupt, actually, and I think a lot of it just doesn't make sense. It's just rotten. That's rotten. That's crazy stuff. That should be overturned, I think.
I agree. So what is more important to you, social justice or free speech?
Social justice or free speech? Wow. Well, I think free speech is really important. Social justice, can you say a little bit more about that?
Social justice, that seems to be where it's just like, there are these minority groups, and we're responsible for their feelings. So therefore we have to act and say things in a certain way so these people get to feel good. And so then what it does, it limits our free speech to say certain words.
Right.
And so some will say, well, you've got to be kind to people and take care of people, be loving and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
But to do that means you can't say certain words.
Okay. Well, I disagree with can't say certain words. I think you should speak your truth. I mean, obviously, don't say things that are racist or sexist or, things like that. I mean, there's ways you can say things without being nasty. So I think free speech, and do it in a way that's, that's not totally, putting someone down. Do it in a way that's actually inclusive. However, speak your truth. Absolutely speak your truth and do it respectfully.
Okay, next question is on equality and egalitarianism. So as a society, should we strive for equality of outcome or inequality of outcome?
Equality of outcome. That's a tricky question. That's a really tricky question. Equality of outcome. I mean, equality in what areas? Equality, is this like talking like communists? Communists. I mean, they're all seen as equal, aren't they? People are seen as equal in a communist society. Equality
of outcome. You have equality of opportunities. Everyone should have the opportunity to go to, say, university, for example. But then equality of outcome is where they say, well, everyone should get a degree. Everyone should be able to get to be CEO of that corporation.
No, I
and
disagree.
it should be across all races and cultures, ethnicities, genders, etc., etc.
No, I disagree with quality of outcome. I think, if you have what it takes to achieve those levels, if you work hard, if you apply yourself more than somebody else, then you should achieve the outcomes, and someone shouldn't just be granted the outcome just because they're doing the same course.
Yeah. Okay. So locus of control. Okay. So how do you know if something is true or not?
Well, I guess you don't really. However, there are things that people say you can pick up. Like, for example, if someone looks down as they say something, that apparently...
Well, let's say historical history.
Historically, how do you... Well, it's tough. I mean, I just say question everything. Do your own research. Don't necessarily believe what is presented in front of you. I mean, as a journalist for years, that was my job, was to present the truth as much as I could, and to do that... You need to interview multiple sources generally on something. So you need to do your research. Don't just believe the first thing you hear about something. And I mean, even then, you don't really know that it's true. Like, for example, 9/11. Okay, 9/11, there's footage on the internet that there were bombs going off inside the building, for example. And we've been fed. I believe we've been fed a lie that there was a plane that went into the towers. After the research that I've seen now on the internet and footage that was hidden from the general public and the mass media lies, and so this can happen where the mass media pushes a certain agenda and we're only seeing one side of the story. So I think often, particularly if some news comes out overnight and it's shocking news, the whole war on terror started for other political monetary reasons, selfish reasons, then I think you need to really question things. So I actually think 9/11 was a setup, and that's because I've done extra research. So I don't know the truth on that. However, from my research, I have devised my own opinion of that, and I think everyone watching this should do the same.
So should people be allowed to question facts?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think you should question facts, because how do you know, even though that says facts is meant to be cut in stone, facts are meant to be a definitive thing, but how do you actually know it's a fact, really, unless you do your own research?
So, but what happens if you question facts, some people get offended.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're going to get that anyway. I think the thing is in life, don't worry about other people getting offended, because people will get offended. People just live their life offended with everything.
We have 18C law in Australia which says if you question two things, you go to jail.
That's insane. I think that 18C law needs to be thrown out with whoever made that law. That is just unbelievable, and I just can't believe I've never heard of this 18C law before, but it's outrageous. It should be definitely thrown out the window, and it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. The world is run by sociopaths and psychopaths, and they probably created 18C law, and I'd say the whole lot of them need to just go and find the merry way down a stream somewhere.
Okay, so we're still on locus of control. At the beach, right? So we live on the Gold Coast here.
Yes.
Eastern Australia. So when you go to the beach, whose responsibility is it to keep you safe? Yours or the lifeguard?
Yours, definitely yours. I mean, the flags are there for a reason. You know, people are encouraged in Australia to swim between the flags because it's seen as, because you've got lifeguards that are watching over you. However, you know, they are human beings, and they may miss a point when you go under, and you know, they can't be held responsible for you drowning because you either don't know how to swim. I mean, that's something people can take personal responsibility for. You don't know how to deal with rips. With rips, you don't go against the rip, you go with the rip and go downstream. There's a lot of things that people can be responsible for with their own safety, and I think people need to be 100% responsible for their own safety. However, being such a litigious society as it is, particularly America and Australia, people love to just get easy money, and so they will sue people, they'll trip over on someone's steps, and you know, and there's all sorts of crazy stories about people, you know, people suing people when they're in the wrong and they've actually got money for it. I mean, this is the crazy thing about the system, is that insurance companies are paying out money where, you know, like the guy that robbed the guy's house and hurt himself and then, you know, sued the owner because he hurt himself, you know, getting in to rob a house. What the hell? Yeah. You know, things like that, crazy.
So, Aldwin, this is a long one. Would you rather live in a country where the government provides everything? The government provides food, home, job, income, health cover, etc., but you have no personal freedom to choose your occupation and the hours that you work, and no choice of where you live? Or would you rather live in a country where nothing is provided for free? You have to demonstrate initiative, you have to work hard for your money with no minimum wage, and you accept the risks?
Yes, I'll take that one, please. Absolutely. Because I want to be able to create a world that I want to live in. I want to create the life of my dreams, and I think if you work, you should be rewarded for it. And I think there's too many people, like in Australia, that are on the dole, they get everything handed to them, and you know, and we've still got people living in the street. I just came from Melbourne. There's a whole lot of people still living in the street, even though the government is giving them the dole money. I just don't get that, because they're not taught about financial management. You know, I think we need to teach people to be individuals and to work hard and to, you know, and live their true purpose, you know, get that they're infinite consciousness, as David Icke says, and be the amazing people that they are, not just have everything handed to them, because they won't appreciate it anyway.
So does welfare create a dependence upon welfare?
Yeah, I think it does. I think people do take advantage of it, and they do tend to depend on it, and they feel, well, they don't have to work anyway because the government's going to give them, you know, cheap housing, cheap food, cheap transport, cheap living. And so they don't really need to work. You know, it's like these women having 4 children to 4 different men, they get $1,500 a week because we have the, what I call the TV bonus, the baby bonus in Australia. And so we're just saying, well, you know, just go out and create a whole lot of num-nums in the world. I know that's not a great word to say, but I mean, you know, like it just annoys me. Like, I really want to see an educated planet, but unfortunately people don't feel that they need to be educated because they can just come out of school, go on the dole, and they'll be provided for the rest of their life.
So who creates poverty?
Well, in some cases the governments do. Like for example in Africa, you know, the government's spending money on weapons, etc., and not providing food, or the food's not, you know, with the aid that's coming into Africa, for example, it's not going to the people that really need it. So in some cases the poverty is created by the governments, and you know, you've got things like genetically modified food now. So you know, a lot of farmers now can't even grow their own food because you've got the big pharma coming in and big companies coming in and controlling what sort of food we can grow, which is crazy.
Who creates wealth?
Well, individuals create wealth with what they do and by the services they provide. So you will receive money in exchange for helping someone, assisting someone with something. So the more you can be of service in life, the more wealth you will create.
Oh, good. Okay. Please take a moment to like and subscribe, remembering to click on the bell. Then check the comments box below to join our team of patrons and crew. And you can always find me on Facebook at the Peace Mapping Group. The link is in the comments box. And once again, thanks and all the best to you.